Do it, do it, do it.
Hello, what's up, y'all?
Good
How
evening,
y'all doing?
everybody.
Good evening, Bethany family.
Hey,
Welcome, welcome,
hey.
Whew.
welcome. Fresh Friday. Fresh Friday. Mm, mm, mm. Fresh
Okay, yeah,
Friday.
okay, everyone's getting to it. Okay, all right. Maya, Sister Des, come on and join this wave. Come on.
Oh, I wasn't watching.
They're so
Okay. You see that little halfway.
The little dance that they do, or whatever.
You know.
they're so boring, Kevin.
No, I'm trying to
You are so
multitask.
disrespectful. Like, you're starting already.
It wouldn't be Fresh Friday if it didn't start off with shade from Pastor Nick.
At all.
Has to happen.
It
No,
happen. It's
like, I don't
it's a
understand.
must.
Nobody even be talking to him, and he just be coming to people.
But I wasn't on nobody specifically. It was just,
That's what we call righteous shade, since it's coming from the pastor.
Yes.
That is righteous shade.
Thank you, Kevin. You understand. You get it. You get it.
Kevin's an
Unlike
instigator.
he is not an instigator. No, he's not.
Yep.
Yes, he is. No, and he knows he is.
He's being used by God at this moment. Leave him alone. He's being used. He's being
Thank
used
you,
by the
Pastor
Lord
Nick.
at this moment. Leave him alone.
Yes, thank you.
I
Thank
cannot.
you. Thank you. See, thank you, Pastor Nick. I knew we can come to an understanding,
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes,
yeah.
we're here. Des can't stand us right now. We love you, Des.
Yes, but nobody even said anything. Nobody even said anything about you, though, Des. I mean, I don't. Maybe I missed something.
You said me and Mike were boring.
I love this.
What'd you
You
say?
said Maya and I were boring.
I don't remember
No,
that.
I don't remember that. No.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Just said it.
First of all, didn't you just say it's Women's History Month? Weren't we just talking about this?
Ooh.
Why is the shade coming for the ladies today?
I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm
Make it make
confused.
sense.
Yes.
Make it make sense.
Empowerment.
Wow, you guys are really gunning for Pastor Nick tonight. What's going on?
I know.
And you
You
too,
know.
sir. No.
Look, Kevin.
Nobody say.
Before the Zoom started, I said it's Women's History Month. We could have had a whole women's forum tonight. We could have chilled tonight, had the day off, but they wanted us to be on. So we can't let Eve take over the garden. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
The righteous shade.
The righteous shade.
The righteous
shade. Let me share before I forget.
Yeah, please share, y'all. Share, y'all, if you can. Please share. Everybody, please share. We're working through some technical difficulties with some people, but God is good. He's working it out for us.
Who's having the tech difficulties?
The people on mute. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Sorry.
What's up, Bishop?
I
Bishop,
promise you, I'm going through like the most bizarre night. Like my laptop's not working, my AirPods stopped working. Like I don't know what's happening.
you didn't charge them?
I was going to say, did you charge him?
No, everything has been charged, but like I couldn't connect on my laptop, and so now I'm on my phone. But then my AirPods didn't want to connect to them. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
what we can do is like most black folk in church. The devil's busy. Blame the devil, and every tech issue is the devil. So
always,
which I never understood.
Always
the one mother of the church in the back when the music on the track's not playing. That's all right.
That's all right. That's right.
That's all right.
You're right. Everybody start clapping.
Right. It's all right. Keep going, baby.
Yeah, keep going. Bishop McCray, how you doing, sir? Hey, Sandra Bell. Hey, Keisha. What's up, Van? I almost said, hey, Jody, and you right there. Hey, I'm just reading through it. It's been a long day. Hey, Eva. What's up, Tyler? Price, how y'all doing? I see you guys. We're all here today. Welcome to Fresh Friday. Welcome to another Friday of righteousness and foolishness.
Shade.
And what? And shade, yeah. But we try not to be too shady though, because we try to be holy. Shady's not.
You try a little harder.
Shadiness is not a fruit of the spirit.
Right.
And we're not. And I'm not. Me and Kevin aren't shady.
We're not. We're not. I just
Wow.
we just
we're not
right. It's it's just something you just can't explain. We just go with it.
Right. We're not calling people golden retrievers or dogs.
Right.
Or nothing like that.
Right.
Wow.
That is a fact. Pastor Nick,
we're not doing stuff like that though.
You feel like you get on somewhere, you get called a dog and a golden retriever, like woof, like
right.
Jeez. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on.
I do have a question before we get into the topic, and this may take up some time. It hit me yesterday, and I kind of want to see your guys' thoughts on it. Just random. We'll get to the relationship stuff, but I kind of want to talk about a little bit of colorism.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
And I know it's going to be a pretty hot topic. And not only colorism, but why we have a tendency. I know why we do it, but I just love to hear your thoughts. Things that are unique to minorities physically are usually looked down on. So our noses are wider, lips more full, hips, all that stuff like that. In the presentation of the more European you look, the more attractive you are. So you have people lightening their skin and doing all the stuff like that. And then even with our own community, like, we all joking at people and start talking about light skin, dark skin, but a lot of Black people is love, but also at the same time, are those who are sensitive to it and those who are actually serious, like the old paper bag test back in the day, that if you were lighter than the paper bag, you were attractive. If you were darker than one, you weren't. But I know this is going to be a very hot topic. And then the other thing too is this.
And this is the icebreaker before we get to the real topic?
Yeah. So it's not an icebreaker, it's a part of the topic. And the other thing too is I know some light-skinned women who the first time somebody meets them, they're like, oh, you got an attitude because you light-skinned. The assumption is because she's light, she's got attitude. Well, if she's dark, she's the mean, angry Black woman. You don't see a lot of colorism with men as much as women, except like back in the day, like in the 90s, light-skinned men ruled. It was in back in the 80s, it was El DeBarge. It was, why are you looking like that?
Because someone on this panel called me that.
You called you El DeBarge? It's the one that's the one at the bottom having all the tech issues. See, God don't like ugly, does he, Kevin? God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. Right? But then you saw like later on in the late 90s, 2000s, you saw the chocolate man come back in more in, but certain time in the 90s, if you wasn't looking like El DeBarge, what's the guy? I can see his face right now. Mario Van Peebles and another guy that was in Albie Shore. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on because I said it because a couple of weeks ago, this singer sang the song about light-skinned women, and there was a whole bunch of flack because something called a yellow girl, something like that. I didn't listen to the song.
A yellow bone.
Yellow bone, yeah, there you go, yellow bone. And NDRE trying to set people free by doing a song called Brown Skin and stuff, and but
not set people free.
but I would love to talk about it though. I mean, within our community and outside our community too.
Right.
So I know this is a heavy topic, but it's been on my mind, and I would love to kind of hear y'all thoughts on all that. Come on.
It's funny you bring that up because I was just talking with my mother about it. She had no idea about like the brown paper bag test. So I was explaining it to her and kind of what it means. So I feel like growing up, I feel like there was a lot of, I don't want to use the word hate, but like this constant comparison because I'm light skinned and my mother is light skinned, but my father is dark skinned. So I feel like it was constant hate from other people within my community, like within my own family. It was never a thing like, why are me and my brother and sister all like a certain complexion, but mommy's this color and daddy's that color? Like it was never a thing. But outside of that, yes, it was a constant thing like, oh, well, you light skinned, or like being preferred because I'm light skinned. So I was very aware of that, even though I myself didn't. And I guess that's the privilege that I had of not really like realizing how I was navigating life as a light-skinned Black woman. But you mentioned something about it's not so much with men, but I think it is. Like you still hear people will call a guy if they do something that's considered like soft or whatever, it'd be like, oh, that's light skin energy or whatever. Things like that. Stop laughing.
No, I said it to my brother because he's lighter than us. So
but yes, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing that I feel like other people mention it more than I don't think about it. And I believe I don't think about it because I have been living in the privilege. I'm using quotes on that, in the privilege of being a light-skinned woman.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys now, it's like they say you acting like Drake, because that whole like. Because I mean, we joke because my younger brother is lighter than me and my older brother, so we mess with him about him being light skinned. He came out looking like he was like lighter than Kevin, and but sometimes some people take the jokes too far, and it can create a complex within our own community. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I think, how do I say this? I think it's more so in our society today, within our community, you'll see a lot of African American people, they'll joke about it. But what I will say is that you're seeing a lot more love to dark-skinned African Americans now than you did back in the day. It's being celebrated, and not just darker skin in general, but just this whole melanin movement now, I'm in love with, and I'm just obsessed with, because I have family that are all shades. And it's funny because my brother and I, when we were born, we were white. There was not one shade of brown initially when we were born. And of course, like African American babies, they gain their color as they grow, if they gain a large amount of melanin or not. But I have cousins that are chocolate and their skin is beautiful. But growing up, they had complexes because they got made fun of, not just from people outside of our race, but in our own community. It was looked at like, you're less than, you're ugly, or you're not as pretty or smart because you're dark skinned. And it's just like, where does all of that stem from? Does it come from internally, or is this something that is placed upon our community from the outside world? Because everybody across the world, they look at dark skin like it is like the devil, like evil. Even with the Meghan Markle situation and how her baby was discussed, like, oh, well, what is the skin color of your child going to be? It's like, and she's biracial. It's like, wow, it's just disheartening. Like, just love people for who they are.
I will say, I feel like outside of our community, people sometimes have a hard time differentiating between what we call light skin and dark skin. Like, they just see black or brown. Like, they don't know the difference in skin complexion.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, Ash. I feel like in our community, it's a balance of both. So we always pin the light skin with dark skin, but it also deals with the person. Like, if there's someone dark skin that's bothered by someone being light skinned, that has to do with them internally as well. Like, you don't like being dark skinned, so it comes to loving yourself for your color and everything. But I definitely say, like, it is definitely a battle between the light skin and dark skin in our community, and
absolutely,
and no lie to it. You think that because you're light skinned you look better, or you're more in your feelings if you're light skinned. Trust me, believe, I met some dark skinned people that are in their feelings too.
Oh yes, very much. Very much.
So probably more than light skin, but we're not gonna go there.
Kevin.
Point proven.
That's that light skin energy. That's all.
But it's definitely in our community, and I think you brought up a good point, Pastor Nick, with everything that's going on with Harry and Meghan's interview going on, and just that is something that's in our community, and we really don't talk about it more, because it's kind of one of those things, like, in African American culture, it's just like, get over it, like, it's just nothing. But actually internally it is something, like, dang, like, you make me feel bad because I'm dark skinned, or you make me feel bad because I'm light skinned, right?
Ava brought up a good point about it coming from slavery.
Yeah, because most of us are light because
the mixed blood. Absolutely.
I'm just saying, he comes from nowhere. He didn't come from nowhere.
Absolutely.
My mom's side, a huge side of her side is light skin. My mom is light, but that's because it came from slave master and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Ada brought up something good, that a lot of how can I say this nicely? She said it very nice. I'll just put it up there.
Yes, I just put it on.
Now, white girls are trying to hijack black beauty, lip injections, booty implants. Here's now, y'all want to know something real quick that kind of grinds my gears, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this.
It's a safe space. Go ahead, Pastor Nick, please.
But the how can I say this? As she said, the lip injections, the butt injections, and all those things, what we call thick and all that, wasn't made popular in Hollywood until a non-person of color got some injections done. And then all of a sudden it became the thing. And y'all know who I'm talking about. It became the thing. Mm-hmm. But it's looked down on in our community. But when they do it, they get TV shows, commercials, you know what I'm saying? Endorsements. Y'all know y'all know the group I'm talking about.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Des.
I was gonna say there's this quote it's like ghetto until proven fashionable, and that's the same kind of energy. You know what I mean? It's like
ghetto until proven fashionable. I've never heard that. Wow.
But that's the same kind of thing. It's like this isn't beautiful until someone else makes it beautiful. You know, literally everything like if you think about like old European dresses when they had like the skirts that had the hump in the back,
muscles.
Whatever. Yeah, like everything comes like not, you know, big energy, but everything comes from Black women. Everything starts with us, you know, and then it kind of gets morphed, or it's not beautiful until someone else takes it, revamps it, and sells it. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like cornrows. Somebody, I was gonna say cornrows, and somebody brought up Bo Derek had the braids back in the day.
They called them boxer braids.
They call them boxer
That's what they tried to change the name to.
Yeah, and then somebody's like,
we've been doing this forever.
This person got cornrows. This is the new wave. Like these Black women been having cornrows in their hair for like
since slavery,
like,
and cornrows were put in slaves' hair to literally keep food. So as they would escape from plantations along the way to try to make it up north, they would hide rice and small things in their hair so they could have food and rations to go along the way. Like, people don't understand how deep these things run in our culture. And then they take them and they make them a fad across everything. And it is just like, I'm okay with preferences. Like, if somebody is dating, if I look at my dating history, I am a fan of chocolate men. That doesn't mean that I'm opposed to dating a light-skinned African-American man, but just from what from my history, that is what I am attracted to, which is okay. But you can't necessarily just write somebody off because they look different, or they act different, or they sound different, or their culture is opposed to yours. Like, it dances on a fine line, and it's something that with our community, I feel like that's where it starts, and that's where we have to fix it. Community has to heal.
Yeah. There's another thing, and you're right, there's nothing wrong with having a preference. You're allowed to have a preference. The problem is when you start downing those who don't fit your preference.
Right.
You're allowed to like what you like. There's nothing wrong with that. And another thing, Ava brought this up, and I say this is not a compliment. Dark skin, you're cute for a dark skin, or you're cute for a big person. You know, you're cute. You know, that is not a compliment, y'all. That is not a compliment. You smack them in the face and then say, "Hey, but you know, at least you're cute."
So backward.
You're cute for a plus size. You're cute for dark skin. It's like it just like remember. I don't know if a couple of years ago, that lady from England, she was older. She was on that singing show. And when she started singing, everybody was so surprised, like, yo, she can sing.
Sharon Boyd?
Susan Boyle. Thank you, Susan Boyle. And people were surprised that she could sing. It's like, what does her voice have to do with her looks? Then, like, I looked at her, couldn't tell, didn't think she could sing. Like, those are two different things. But
like, again, they were literally laughing before she even started singing. She was like, hopefully I'll be as big as Ellen Page, which is big Broadway star over there. But I felt so bad because she really could sing and her voice is beautiful. But everybody made a split judgment. And even one of the judges said, when they said that, you know, everybody was judging you, but no one's judging you now. And it's like, why do we as people have to prove ourselves if we are different?
Control.
Yeah.
Control. People want to feel like they can label you and place you in a box because it makes them feel validated. And so if I can look at you and say, I have this opinion of you because you look like this, and people that look a certain way usually fit this stereotype or this motif. Yep, that's what you are, and that's where you'll stay. And that's not the case. We have the power to break any barrier. Nobody puts us in a place. That's something we allow people to do, which people need to feel empowered to just live and be themselves. Yeah.
I think there's like a whole business behind it in the Caribbean, many parts of the African diaspora. There's people using lightening creams and lightening soaps to lighten their complexion. Like there's a whole business behind this whole complexion thing.
Yeah. It usually comes down to the money and marketing.
Yeah.
It usually comes down to. I mean, and you saw a lot of that where in a lot of the popular shows, the main woman was light skinned. Her friend was dark skinned, you know, and the dark skinned one was always the fun one, the play one, you know, never took him seriously.
Unpopular opinion, Pam was better than Gina, just saying.
That's it. There's no argument out of me.
Just saying.
Yeah. Maya, you have something to say? You're over there quiet.
No, I'm just listening.
Maya has her, you know, her head done. You right?
Oh yeah, she's got her hair done. She got the like this. She's letting the hair talk for her. That's all.
Go ahead.
The hair's talking for her. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Maya. I ain't mad at you.
But I think that colorism topic is just it's something, and I know like kids can be very cruel, and we all did it growing up. We still do it now. You make somebody being light skinned, make somebody dark skinned, but I think there's a certain line eventually where people have through the jokes are now have a complex about it as adults, because again, if you're constantly called, you know, midnight, or, you know, when the lights are out and they say smile so we can see you, you know, and all that stuff like that, or you're light skinned and they call you, you know, something else, it can create an insecurity in you. And watch this, how somebody else feels about you becomes how you feel about yourself. You know, but it's that whole thing of, if the more European it looks, the more attractive it is, and the more African it looks, we're getting into this, y'all. Let's be real here, right? Do you mind? I'm probably gonna put my foot all up in this. You guys,
please, go ahead. We are right here. We already opened up the door. We might as well walk through.
Y'all remember when Lupita got the most beautiful woman in thing a couple years ago?
Yep.
And everybody said, "Oh my God, a dark-skinned woman finally got the most beautiful." I said, "What?" I said, "Here's the thing: they would never give that to a dark-skinned African American woman."
Yeah.
Think about it. Most of your, you know, she you can tell she's from, you know, we're all from Africa, but you can tell she's not a typical African American woman, right? But you notice they give people that look more African, dark skin, more opportunities. Conversely to dark skinned women who are raised, and people were like, when I was talking to people, they felt the same way too, because it's the ethnic look versus the You get what I'm saying? I hope I'm saying this the right way. Nothing against Lupita. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have got it or was wrong. I'm just saying that they don't, the same privileges and given to this group of people also. So I mean,
no, that's true.
I think another way to look at that is the objectifying people, especially Black people who aren't from this country, like being called exotic and being looked at.
Yep. She's more exotic.
That's exactly what is exotic. Yep. Exotic. Yep.
But what is exotic? Like what is that?
I don't know. That's like whoever told me that. So I'm going to be like, "Oh, I knew something was exotic about you." I'd be like, "Shut up."
No, but it's a compliment. It's a compliment that a lot of Black women receive. It's just like, oh yes, you have this exotic look. What is exotic? Like, what is that?
The more you look like you're from another country besides America, the more exotic you're considered.
I think there's a mystery behind it. Like, what are you?
Yeah, what are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's a question. Do Americans, and particularly African Americans, are they considered exotic in other countries on the global spectrum?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Or are they exotic or are they urban?
They might be considered exotic until they open up their mouths.
Dag, Ashley.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm playing.
I didn't mean it like that, but I didn't mean it like that. It's just when Americans travel to other countries, the minute we start speaking, they're like, oh, you're American. So now you're not just some Black individual from another country. You're American. And that label American has such a kind of like a sour taste in a lot of other people's mouths in other countries. Not that I can blame them. We don't have the best history in the world, but at the end of the day, we're still people. Even if you think about Africans who are from the continent of Africa, they are from Nigeria, Liberia, any of those countries, compare themselves to us here. And a lot of them are like, you're not Black. But then the slave trade isn't taught the way there like it is here, so that there's an educational aspect tied to that too. So even then there is some separation, because it's just like, you can't claim Africa because you're the descendant of a slave. Oh, okay, well, aren't you? You just weren't in America. You know what I mean? Like, it's
That's true.
Ashley is giving a history lesson right now.
Right. Even those in the Caribbean, from those who are in Haiti and all those people, like, don't y'all forget, y'all came over on the boat too. You just got a mix of Spanish and all the other stuff, or whatever else, of the island is in you.
Brazil too.
Brazil, but you're from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I just we joke about stuff, but it also does concern me sometimes too, because anytime an insecurity is created, and a lot of people, they start valuing their looks more the older they get. But when you're young, you're impressionable and you're insecure, let the person say the wrong thing to you. It can create a complex in you. Yep. We can mess with Kevin about his hair and looking like, one of the barges, but he's not going to feel that bad about it because he knows we love him. We're joking.
Yep. I'm going to keep coming with the curls.
Right.
So for the point of like the slave trade and all of that, I think the biggest thing is culture. Like, a lot of people still had their culture attached to them, whereas Americans, like African Americans, a lot of us don't have, like, which is why people can say like, no, I'm African because I'm from this country or this tribe. Like, a lot of us can't pinpoint where we were taken from and who our ancestors was. And I think that's where the difference lies. Not saying like we're all Black at the end of the day, but I feel like that's the biggest difference, and why there is so much pride in like Jody's Jamaican, like she can go, no, I'm Jamaican, like my people are from Jamaica. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say like, oh, my people from Ghana, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think that's really the biggest thing that happens there. Is like, there's a sense of, and even though we all came on the same ships and like different people were dropped off on different islands, the people who were dropped off on those islands, they created their own culture. They created their bond there. Whereas the African Americans who were brought to this land, we were all ripped apart, and you know what I mean? Like, and anytime stuff started to bond, families were ripped apart. If a bond was formed, if you were started to form a community, it's like, nah, I'm about to take dad away. I'm about to sell mom off. I'm about to sell, you know what I mean? So whereas in other places, they still had that community kind of thing, which is why, like, when Haiti was liberated and they had their independence, it was like, this is a community that had their independence. Whereas we're still going through like, okay, where do we go? Who are we connected to?
Right. People are just learning about Juneteenth just last year. It became a big thing. Like, everybody's like, oh, Juneteenth. and it's been around forever. And that's not even technically the day of freedom from slavery. That was just for Rose in Texas.
Right.
But
Because-
that's the thing. We don't have our history. Like, you know, we aren't taught our history for real, like the in-depth, the real, you know what I mean? Like, for real, slavery was like, we can't even begin to imagine what they really went through. Like, people were, it was more than just beating and mutilation. Like, people's organs were taken. Like, it was stuff happening, you know? So it's like the pain in this country, the roots that are so, like, the blood that runs deep here is like, it's more than just skin. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about skin color, but it's like, it's real, like, rooted pain that we have to, like Ash mentioned before, like, we have to heal from. And I think that when we talk about skin tone, it's just a different, it's a way to kind of, like, offset that, you know, offset the real conversations.
I was reading something about how Reconstruction actually, the effects of what we're seeing today started with the end of Reconstruction back in the late 1800s. That helped create Jim Crow and a whole bunch of other stuff. And we're still paying for all that stuff to this day. Like my mom's side, they can trace it all the way back to the slave master. And once the Africans were free, the slaves were free, some of them looked so light-skinned that they actually passed for white. And they said they were white for the rest of their lives, so they didn't have to worry about all. And I can't sit there and, you know, and get all over them. I haven't lived through that stuff, you know, but I think that no thought is original to anybody. It comes from somebody,
right?
And it's something I think, you know, it's a continued conversation. But like Ashley said, I think you're starting to see a little more of a celebration of our differences. And that's a good thing, because I think it still hurts us. So, all right. That's my spiel on that. Y'all good? You sure? Anything else?
No, I think that's a good, you know, that's a good conversation, especially in our culture. So that was a good
it's a necessary conversation. Yeah,
definitely. It was necessary.
It's a necessary conversation.
It's necessary. It's necessary because you know, unfortunately, it's there. And my biggest concern is not always outside the community; it's inside the community too.
Right.
That's the biggest concern.
I feel like when it's inside of the community, that's where the most hurt happens too.
Yes.
Like, I know I heard growing up, you know, she an Oreo, she black on the outside but white on the inside. Like,
we called you that the other day, didn't we?
Oh yeah, you did. But y'all playing.
Right, well, we're playing with you. We're just having
fun.
fun.
I grew up with people where it wasn't fun and jokes.
Yeah,
that's what it was, you know.
And Maya, I'm glad you brought it up, because let's be real here. Let's all right. Let's take it even further. When did you acting white mean you're articulate? Come on now. You know, you know how to behave.
I'm about to run past the nigga.
You know, you acting white because you talk well.
Yeah.
You know, you speak well. You know, but everything about acting black is considered hood, ghetto, phonics, and we believe that stuff. And got on people said, "Well, you acting white because you talk good." And you know, so and so. Some of us got that growing up. You know.
Some of us still get it today.
Still get to this day, because and we, in a part of our community, silently, well, not silently, they believe that the more ghetto you are, the blacker you are, the more articulate you are. You just being bougie, uppity, and you acting white. But why is it that everything about being black is considered such a negative, bad thing?
Again,
and being white is a good thing.
Again, that is from slavery, because when we weren't allowed to read or write or learn or have an education. So in that, if you're looking at it from that aspect, if you can read, you are closer to whiteness because the white person can read, you know? So that's why that stigma is there. And I feel like we're getting away from that stigma, honestly, because there's so many educated Black people. Like, we are the most educated group right now. Well, one of the most educated groups right now. Yeah. So we're if not, we're up there. You know, there's a lot of people who are doing what they have to do, who are actively fighting and moving for, like, creating STEM programs for Black babies. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of progression in education. So I think that stigma is kind of melting away a little bit, at least from what I see.
Sorry. I feel like also people try to imagine us as this like monolith and don't realize like all multi-level, multi-layered. Like we can all sit here and talk to y'all very proper, but catch us after this Fresh Friday. And
I don't know what they talking about. I'm just like, I am just
No.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, we can speak intelligently, we can be intellectual, but we might like to watch ratchet TV. Like, I don't know, like there's different layers to us, and none of that defines how Black we are. Like, it's so silly.
Can I make a confession?
Yes.
So growing up where I grew up at, where I was raised at, is a predominantly white town. And it used to frustrate me to no end, from grade school up until probably about middle school, where all the elementary schools then came into like one. I was the only Black person in a class of 200 other kids. So growing up, you then become the staple in everyone else's eyes for what Black is. And growing up, we had this thing called a diversity quota. So because of the minorities, we pretty much all live in the same area. So my town had this thing where if you were a Black person, they had to spread all the Black kids out to the different elementary schools to make sure that all the kids experience different races at a young age. Now, the numbers might not have been even. For instance, if there's 1 or 2 Black people in my class, there are still some classes that have all white children. So they might not necessarily come into contact with a Black individual. And this used to frustrate me so much growing up. But now I kind of appreciate that upbringing because I learned how to code switch. Growing up that way taught me how to maneuver around so many different cultures of people and how to turn it on and turn it off, because there's a time and a place for everything. And you don't appreciate that aspect of learning while you're going through it because you kind of feel singled out and feel attacked. And it was hurtful. It was extremely hurtful, especially being young and not understanding. But all of my friends are like, oh, you have braids one day, and then your hair is straight, and then your hair is down your back. I don't understand. Is it real? Can I touch it? Where do you go get your hair done? Where, how is it that you can dance and pick up on things so quickly and I can't? Or just the little things that used to. Did you really just ask me that question? Did you ask me why I have rhythm? Really? It's just, it's frustrating. But now that I'm older, I understand the value and the reasons why I had to go through those things, because they molded me and shaped me to be the worldly individual that I am. For anybody that grows up in a singular cultured area and then they get dropped in a college scenario where now you're around all these people and you got to learn them, it's like culture shock. It's like getting smacked in the face.
I don't understand why they so confused by our hair. Like,
right. Like it's in a museum or something. Like, oh my gosh, can I touch it?
And it gets curly, and then you might straighten it the next day. But I do something, and it's like, oh my God! It's like you forget that people will literally not recognize you because your hair is different. I'll be like, what?
But you remember, y'all know the story of Sarah Bartman, right?
Yeah. Is that the one? No, I'm not gonna say. Go ahead.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Because she was like put in a museum. Like they stuffed her body, and they basically, because when somebody doesn't see you as a human, I mean, this viewer, certain people don't see you as a human. It's like a shock and surprise. Like, oh my goodness, like you're different. But it also shows the versatility too, like you said. And some people don't know how to manage that. The ladies in the comment section are going off on this hair thing.
They are.
They are.
I see you, Rev.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, like, do you guys wash your hair? Like, yeah. Like, hello?
Yeah, no, we just walk around not washing our hair.
Wow. Yeah, but that.
Uh-oh.
He froze.
He froze.
Freeze.
Yeah, I did.
Hello.
Oh wait, we hear. Is he there?
Are you back?
Now freeze. Like me.
Oh. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. No, but I definitely think that that's crazy. Like,
I can hear them say froze.
Can is my
Both of them
they're
are
both
frozen now. That's crazy.
now.
Let's see. They on that Bethany too. Wi-Fi.
Oh wow.
Okay, I think Maya's back.
Wait, Maya, are you back? Are you there?
Can we screenshot? Can somebody please screenshot this picture past to Nick? Because this is everything.
He's going like it's like he was about to go in on somebody. Like let me tell you something, right?
So Belva in the comments, she said that there are people that shame people out of being educated. Then she said, you tell them some other cultures really want to know. So I guess she's talking about when people ask about our hair or certain things. Mm-hmm. I think it's the way that people do it, like the assumption that they can touch or that they can just say certain things that you know for a fact, excuse me, you would not say to another person that looks like you, or you to another person that looks like you.
Or it's in a or they think it's being done in a safe space.
Right.
When it's really not. Like, don't look at me like I'm a phenomenon, like, ooh, can I touch it? As opposed to one of my best friends. She's a white Jewish woman. She's been my best friend since middle school. And we have been able to educate each other on our cultures. There are things that, like, during the holiday season, I always go over her house. We do some Jewish traditions, and then we do some Christmas traditions as well. That's just been like our thing that we do. But there are times where she will ask me, because I was the only African-American person in her bridal party. We had her bachelorette party, and her sister was like, why do you wear your bonnet at night? and because she's like, I don't want you to get offended. In that moment, in that essence, I understood, because I'm taking extra long to get ready for bed, where all they have to do is throw their hair up in a bun and go. So it's time and place, I think, for when people ask these questions, and also who you're asking the question to. Right. You can't just walk up to somebody you've never met before in your life and like, oh, girl, where you get your hair done at? Weren't you bald-headed yesterday and now you got a hair down to the small of your back? Like, wait, what?
There's a comment that says some cultures are just curious and we're curious about other cultures, and I agree with that. Like sometimes people just don't know, you know, like sometimes they just really don't. They haven't experienced that, and you know, depending on where you live or where you grow up, like you really just your only experience is what you see on TV. So you know, to see something or somebody in real life and go like, oh, wow, like, I didn't realize that that's how that was done, you know, like, so, yeah, I think it can be, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I think that's one of the things that we have to realize, that there's some people that don't know. And, you know, sometimes we have to educate people, and you gotta, you know, decipher, is it, you know, someone actually wanting to know for, you know, to know better, you know, because we're becoming a more diverse, you know, workplace, more diverse, you know, just nation in general, right? So there's some people that want to know just because they're curious, but you got to decipher if it's really someone that wants to know and someone that's just being rude, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you may think it's someone coming at you like in a negative way, but it's not. And then, you know, that other side that we always talk about come out like, well, what you mean by, like, calm down, hold up now, they just asked you about the bonnet, that's it.
Yeah, because everybody wear weaves, every culture. You know, and you talk about Jewish women wear wigs all the time.
Right.
But no, like I used to, like when people ask me, like if my hair went from like short style one day to, you know, I would just say horse shampoo. I'd be like, you know what? I use horse shampoo to grow it overnight. It's like, wow, which brand?
Made.
No, but yeah, like I think just some people just want to know sometimes. So I agree with that.
Sorry, go ahead, Jody. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just looking at Ava's comment saying always trying to figure out if it's curiosity or foolishness is tiresome. And I agree. I think there comes a point where it's like, you're grown now. You can find out.
Google it.
YouTube is a thing. Yeah.
YouTube is the thing.
It's not our responsibility to educate people either.
Exactly. Why does the onus always have to be on us to educate people about us? Like,
You ever be have you ever been the only Black person in like a work environment?
Yes.
And then like people come to you for like the
Yes.
So what should we do in this? And like I don't know, I don't speak for the whole Black community, but you know, go off like.
I'm like, I'm not Black.
And I think well we know your part something else. So I was
You can't do this right now.
I know. I'm sorry.
It was a joke, everyone.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
I feel offended. Just like,
but just a joke. But me and Kevin just, we go through it every day. So, but I think I heard Daniel Kaluuya talk about racism and educating people on it. And he kind of gave a great example of how if a person is robbed and they go down to the police department and the police start asking the person whose home was robbed, why'd you get robbed? Why did this person break into your house? He's like, that's synonymous of making Black people answer all the questions of why there's racism. He's like, ask the people that are racist. Why are you asking us to educate y'all on this thing? Ask them, talk to them about it, see for them to fix it. It's why did the victim have to be the person to educate? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like Jody said, there's Google now. If you don't know, look it up.
Yeah.
But I get it. I also think there's a like Avian said, you're tired of trying to decipher what's what, and you can be on edge when people ask you certain questions when you're used to being asked it in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a reality, but I think we still need to respond appropriately. I'm not saying inappropriately, but it's just a real thing.
Just play. It's also urban. It's also an Urban Dictionary. If anyone wants to know that as well.
Yeah, for real, that's a really good.
It's a good source.
Because they, people may ask you like, what does this mean? I may not even know what it means. What do you think? I think there's new terms that come out all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Why? What I'm learning too, and this, I'm sorry, this is random. Why is it that, as Desiree said and some other people, one represents the whole when it comes to us? Mm-hmm. Mm. But if one police person does something wrong and we say something about that one police officer, don't talk. You're talking about the whole. When the roles are reversed, and part of it's like now y'all know what it's like to be us, where a small community is now defining your whole entire thing. Yeah. How do you think we feel when people keep bringing up Chicago? Like every person does not live in Chicago. What about Chicago? What about it?
Or Chirac, as some people say.
Like, come on, y'all. You don't want to be grouped in by a select few. Why do you think we want to be grouped in by a select few?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But because people don't want to be us, honestly. They want what we have, but they don't want to actually deal with what comes with actually being African American in this country. And that's just factual. You want the culture. You want the seasoned food. You want the rhythm. You want the lips and the hips and the clothes and the vibrant colors and the versatility and to be able to code switch and all of that. It's what you want. However, you don't want to pay the price of the ridicule that comes with it.
Yeah. They want to be at the climax, but they don't want any of the pre-work or the consequences that come with all of it.
We saw a superstar lately that was kind of doing the code switching thing, and as soon as her community kind of started coming at her, she changed up in a heartbeat and went right back to they say
like she was clueless.
Everybody wants to be it until it's time to actually be it. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Who was this?
It's 7:50, huh?
Not they want the seasoned salt, Ava.
Maya, you have that thing we can put up soon.
Okay.
Let's get out of here. We've been talking serious for a minute. It's almost 8 o'clock. So unless y'all got more to say on this.
I mean, we could talk about this all night. So
yeah, we could do part 2, 3, 4. It's a good conversation.
This is a good
conversation. Great conversation.
But I think our generation is asking these questions, and they want to know, what does the church say about this stuff?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, did you say our generation? As in like millennial?
No, I didn't say millennials. No.
Okay.
No.
So what generation are you referring to?
What is the hour?
No, because I'm also including Gen Z too.
Oh, please don't conclude them to me.
You said our generation.
You said hour though.
I'm talking as a whole, like young people like 40, well, I'll be 40 this year, and under are really talking about this.
Millennials.
Millennial.
And Gen Z too.
So not a tweener.
No, I'm a tweener, but not Gen Z.
See?
You can't be both.
But you guys, when I was talking about colorism, you guys are practicing ageism and and groupisms and all this other stuff.
It's the isms.
The ism.
And this is your friend Kevin. Look at that, see? And she's Gen Z.
I know. That's why I say I don't want no Gen Z attached to me. Like, God changes not.
Shout out to Shania.
Yes, shout out to Shania. God changes not.
Get yourself a hoodie.
Mine is on the way. It's coming.
What's the name? But I think these are necessary conversations. They want to know, what does the church have to say about this stuff? Mm-hmm. And can we talk about it in a biblical way? And racism is not going to end by Jesus just changing people's hearts. It's going to come when people on earth start to really have empathy towards each other and see each other outside of their own experience. Yeah. You know, and see this person's life through their experience, so you can have some understanding. I'm not going to agree with everybody, but at least I have an understanding of where you're coming from in life. And I think that is necessary. And the church is having a rude awakening on this whole race thing. You're seeing Black people leave certain white congregations in droves because they thought they were accepted, but they weren't.
Yeah,
they were accepted on certain terms. So I'll say this last point. We can go to some fun stuff. When Martin Luther King had his funeral, a white pastor went there, and he didn't go because he was a fan of Martin Luther King. He went to see the experience of it, and he wrote this whole thing about how bad he was, and we got to stop this movement. We can't have another one like this. And he said the way that we'll do it is we'll recruit some other Black preachers to start talking about the stuff we talk about. And that's how they start using tokens to say, well, that person is talking about this. Like, you still have some Black preachers to this day that will tell you racism isn't that big of a deal in this country.
Sure. And they couldn't teach me the Bible.
I mean, it's not even taught in some states.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something. All right, y'all, let's go ahead, Maya, put it up, so we've been deep in.
Okay. Here it is.
Oh, I'm.
Oh, wait a minute.
All right,
wait
so,
a minute.
No, I have a problem with this.
Hold on. Now you can't. You can't. There are other ones, but you know, we picked this one because more people know who these people are compared to.
Oh Lord. R.I.P. to the fallen.
Some of the other ones I saw, most people wouldn't know who these people were. So you got one service to choose from. You got three different concerts in the same city the same night, and you gotta pick. You gotta pick one to go to.
Ooh,
wow, this is good.
You got
third person on the second row.
I'll go.
The
so
third person.
Oh yeah,
Jonathan Nelson.
Oh, that's Jonathan Nelson.
That's Jonathan Nelson.
Yeah.
That's not Jonathan Nelson. That's Jason Nelson. That's Jason Nelson. That's the other one. So the top one is Dietrich Haddon, Rance Allen, Israel Hutton, and Fred Hammond. All right. The second service, Byron Cage, Kurt Franklin, Jason Nelson, Smokey Norfolk. Third service, you got Bishop Marvin Sapp, Bishop Marvin Winans, Donald Lawrence, and Bishop Hezekiah Walker. And you can only go to one. Only go to one.
Okay.
Only go to one. Which one would you go to? Now, remember, some of these people come here, so please be careful with your shady remarks if you have any. We're not trying to do that. This
Ain't
is not
no shade.
No shade.
No shade.
All right.
Oh my God.
This is actually this is not easy for me, but
hard.
This is hard.
Yeah.
Can I make my own service?
No. You gotta pick.
Can I go to 3 different ones at the same time?
No.
I was going to say
no. You only go to one.
Can we church hop?
No.
Wait.
Only go to one. Only go to one. You can only go to one.
Oh, I thought this was all in one church. I was going to say, because I worked at the door, so I can go to like all services. So these are all different church. Wow, this is hard. Oh, Pastor, you got us. You got us on this one.
You can only go to one.
Oh, you got us on this one.
So Maya, let's get you out the way, because usually, well, no, it's not food related, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Oh gosh.
Well, it was actually really easy for me.
I'm gonna take a picture of this.
It would be first service.
The first service?
Yeah, because Israel Houghton, like his music got me through a lot of hard times growing up. And then Dietrich Haddon, I really like He's Able. So like that's probably my favorite gospel song. So definitely first service.
Okay. Go ahead, Ashley.
Can you come back to me?
Okay.
I'm still trying to decide.
Ashley, you a church baby, so you know. Go ahead, Jody.
This is very, very difficult for me. Israel. I love Israel, but I'm gonna have to go with the third service. I'm gonna go with the third service.
Why?
I think that just the level of musicality, I think, is different in the third than it is with the other two.
Yeah.
Okay. And Desiree said she picked service too. That makes sense.
I think I know.
Go ahead, Ashley.
I'm probably the third service, just because that's a lineup of worshipers, and that would send me. It would send me.
Yeah.
All the way.
Miss Sister Marriott.
It's a hard one. I'm torn between second service and third service. Which one you think is going to go longest?
The third one.
The third one will be there for a long night.
Will be the longest. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to go to then.
Yeah, the whole premise is supposed to be hard because it's easier to put like Kurt, Fred, Israel on the same thing. You would easily choose that.
Right.
So you got to break it up.
Oh, this is hard.
Go ahead, Kev.
All right, so I'm definitely going to go with the third service just by experience, because when Marvin Sapp came to Bethany the last time, that good sir was preaching. He was reading from his Bible without even reading from the Bible, and he was singing. So you're getting all that in one with him. So that already has set me. And then, it's I gotta go with the third one. It's the third service. I love every service, but if I had to choose one on a Sunday, it has to be the third service.
I am going to go with the first one. The reason why Fred Hammond is my all-time favorite gospel artist.
Okay.
All-time favorite. And in Israel, his lineup, his musicality, his discography alone is phenomenal. Those two would be the best parts. I like some Dietrich Haddon songs, and I can get with rants with all the I can go through all that. But I think what tips it over is Israel and Fred in the same concert.
Yeah.
As much as I love Byron Cage and Kurt and all them, like it seems like service 2 you'll have more fun. Not that you won't have worship and praise, but it'd be more fun, more laid back. The third service is going to be a little more traditional. Not in a bad way, but more churchy.
That's why I love it.
I think
the
first service you get a mix of churchy, new, trendy stuff. And some parts I may go to the bathroom on, but I'll be back.
I'll go to the bathroom. I think for me, I need a service where I can hear like a bunch of hymns, because we don't really hear hymns sung anymore, and I miss it.
Fred and Israel sing hymns, and Rance is going to hymn it up too.
That's true.
Rance is going to hymn that thing up. I think the first service is a great mix. I mean, all of them are a great mix, but it depends on your preference. Because like for me, if I was picking the perfect one, it'd be Fred, Israel, Kirk, and Hezi. That'll be the perfect one to me.
Yeah.
Those 4 right there, I would take that all day long.
Yeah.
And throw John P. Key in there just for an encore.
Listen, no, you gotta throw William Murphy in there, because that man.
Oh.
When I say tears, William Murphy. Oh my gosh.
We need to do that again, but with new school gospel artists too.
We can, because there's a new one, but a lot of people may not know who they are. So we can do the next one, or we can create our own.
Oh, let's create our own.
Create our own.
Like
the top 3.
Yeah, like right now, I would pick Maverick City over just about. I love their music. Their albums they're dropping, they are killing the game for the past 2-3 years. Just, I mean, jeez.
So that's like your go-to when you need to.
Oh, right now, have you listened to their albums and stuff?
No, I haven't listened to them.
You have got to listen to Maverick City music.
It takes you in.
Oh my God! I mean, I like it because it feels like they're worship moments. They're not songs.
Right.
It's not like a concert or recording this album. It's like, yo, hey, y'all, let's come and worship and do it through singing. That's what it feels
organic,
like.
Yeah,
it feels
real
organic. So their songs are anywhere between 5 to like 15 minutes long because it's a moment that's being created. Just go listen to
I'm writing it in my phone now.
What's the one? You never change and valleys low. You'll never change. And I believe you hold it all together. You go on YouTube and look up You Hold It All Together, Maverick City Upper Room. Have you crying? I mean, just yeah.
I got it right here.
And they're also talented. They'll be switching from singing to playing on the drums to playing on the piano.
Yeah. And they just came out with a new. They come up with like two albums every year. For the past 3 years, it's been twice a year.
You got a lot of music catch up.
They just came out with one. Last week, I think.
I was wondering, like, so did everybody get tested before they did that?
Now,
Probably.
I'd be so concerned looking at videos like y'all are all huddled up together like it's COVID.
Yeah.
I know some
with no masks.
I know some they did pre-COVID, but some of the videos they put out, some people put out, they're like, are y'all like all stuck up here together? Like, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
But
they're covered. God got it.
Ashley, there are some people that got sick from those gatherings and died from those gatherings. Don't test God. I know you tried to make a good reason, but look at you trying to be so nice. Like, let's try to give it some.
God, like, no.
Come on, it's Fr3sh Friday.
Right.
I tried.
All right, so all hearts and minds clear.
Yes, good sir. Awesome conversation tonight, guys, as always.
This was good. Crystal, I knew you would pick the third service. You super churchy, so Crystal gas.
Come on, we going to the third service.
Yes. All double clap all night. All night.
Yeah.
Like all night is all right.
I think it's like I love the third service, but I think you get more variety with the first service. Like the third service, you get a consistency of. And by the way, I'm like, all right, okay, let's kind of, Yeah, because Dietrich is kind of cool. I mean, he did come out on stage in a whole astronaut suit. I've never seen a gospel artist do that before in my life. So an astronaut suit?
He was in a spacesuit.
Wait, like at an award show or something?
No, this was at a concert that I went to that Dietrich was there, and I forget what album it was, but he came out on stage in a spacesuit, and I was like, all right.
I'm not wearing a spacesuit now. During COVID, I would wear a spacesuit.
No, this was pre-COVID. This was about 2-3 years ago, and I was like, he really came out on stage in a spacesuit. I had never in my life experienced anything like it.
Sometimes, you gotta add the oh no, I'm not even going there.
It was the
there's so much I could say right now. I'm just not even gonna
Yeah.
It was a McDonald's concert. Lonnie hosted it.
Oh, the one in Philly?
Oh, okay.
He came out in a spacesuit. Interesting. Okay. All right.
It was praise and worship out of this world.
I like it. Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Bethany. We love